In progress.
Right? Came across a story about 60 Minutes. Well, Aussie dad devastated by shock DNA test revealing his kids aren't his. Now, of course, 60 Minutes have turned off the comment section, so men don't get to share their stories. YouTube is very much about silencing men's issues. So any man, when I play this, any man who wants to come to my comment section and share their stories, please do. But this is so typical, by the way. Guy finds out the daughter isn't his or son.
DNA tests are no longer a mystery. Gone is the suspicion. They're just another weapon in TV's war on crime. But it might be a different story if that weapon was turned on us. And that's not impossible. It's happening to Australian families every day. DNA testing, especially paternity testing, is a booming business, fired up by suspicious husbands determined to prove that the child they're raising is actually theirs.
How's it being turned on you? She makes it sound like it's a bad thing. This is a tool used by citizens of the country that deserve to be treated with respect. It's not being turned on anyone.
And as you might imagine, that's opened up a whole new domestic battlefield, new charges of betrayal and revenge.
This is Sean.
Not revenge, justice. Justice. Men are finding justice. We'll get past, I don't want to see this. We'll get past over here. There we are.
Humble posting.
There were a number of things that began to just not quite ring true. People making comments that she didn't look like me, whereas my older daughter did. And
Chris refused to believe it at first, but the nagging doubts...
Yeah, men are suckers. Sorry, but in this day and age, men, if you get married, I cannot have any real sympathy for you. Men know better by now.
...wouldn't go away.
The little one started talking about her other dad, her other father, and that made me... Well, first I said, I am your dad, there's no other dad. Oh yes, there is. There's my other daddy who comes to visit.
So, you've got suspicions about your child. Well, as thousands of Australians do every year, you can have a DNA paternity test done.
Notice the sneaky gender-neutral term. Thousands of Australians. No, thousands of Australians, fathers, men, say it.
...done in secret, and it's completely legal.
Well, it should be, too. Because it's proper that the man actually knows. And if the wife is going to tell him.
Delivery for Tara Brown.
Great, thank you. You can go to a private clinic, or as we have, order a home testing kit over the internet. It's arrived from the United States in just 4 days.
This is all great to know.
And cost us $300. Inside, swabs for the child and the doubting father. This is how easy it is. You just take one of these swabs. Now, do you mind opening your mouth for me, please? Great. And then you do your own. And within a week, you will know to within a 99% probability whether the child is really yours.
This is great news. It's money well spent, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it was to satisfy my own curiosity. I was so, at that stage, I was so dubious about the antics of my ex-wife, what she'd been up to, the fact that she'd had the men on the side and so forth. I just wanted to know.
So he already knew she was cheating on him. Of course, there's good reason for him to be suspicious.
So, without telling his wife, Chris took a mouth swab from his daughter and sent it to a DNA lab for a paternity test. Now, he's got the result back. Halfway around the country, a single mum and her 8-year-old son are also anxiously awaiting the results of a paternity test.
This is to hook some poor guy on child support, by the way.
How did Joel come about? What happened?
We met in a small town where I used to live, in a pub on a Sunday afternoon, I think it was. and things just escalated from there. We spent the night together, and yeah, that was about it.
And this woman wasn't smart enough to use contraception.
Do you want to get pregnant?
No, I wasn't out to go and get pregnant. It
Then why didn't you use your contraception?
was quite a bit of a shock. Yeah. I'd been seeing
Why is it a shock that you got pregnant when you had sex without any protection?
another guy in Mount Isa that was a regular type of, like ongoing sort of casual relationship that I was in at the time. But that had finished like a week prior, so it was a bit of touch and go of who it was at that stage.
And this isn't a young kid either. This is a grown woman. Even if you minus the age of her son off, she was probably in her early 20s at the youngest.
Michelle decided to raise Joel on her own, but then, 8 years on, to receive the family tax benefit, she's been forced to nominate the father. And
Okay, so she's willing to enslave a man for her own benefit, right?
to tell Joel the truth.
What have you told your mates about your dad?
Or that I haven't had one, or I thought I didn't have one.
Yeah, but notice here, she's not contacting this man so her son can have a father. She's contacting him so she can get money out of him. So everything's going on there has nothing to do with the children. It has no benefit for the children.
What is it like not to have a dad?
A bit sad.
1,000 kilometres away in Mount Isa, 35-year-old Noel had all but forgotten that one-night stand, until, out of the blue, he was told he had to take a paternity test.
I was the first one that she's contacted because I was the easiest to find.
When you first got that letter and you're asked to take this test, what was your reaction then?
Well, look at the scared look on his face.
Oh, it was like a joke. It was like there's like no way that I could ever be the father. You know, I'd only known the girl for like a matter of hours, and especially since he had other partners, I just thought there was just no way it was me. I couldn't believe that they sent me the letter.
Wow, 99.999. I would say that's it.
In an instant, Noel's world was turned upside down.
I didn't think I was going to be the father, so I was kind of pretty cocky about it. You know, I thought, yeah, I'll be right.
So it must have been an even bigger shock.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty.
You know why he's so nervous? Is because there's no benefit for him. You understand that? Like, being a parent is tremendous stress for the man. Anything that goes wrong in the family, the man gets blamed. But even so, he knows it goes beyond this. He's going to be made a wage slave.
Pretty bad. Like receiving that letter saying that you're the father, that's pretty full on. Basically, your whole life changes forever.
As the biological father, Noel doesn't have any choice about paying child support.
Called it. This man is not going to have any thing to do with this boy, unless the mother wants him to. This boy is not gaining a father. The mother is getting free money. Understand what child support is about.
But he does have to decide whether he wants to be a dad to a little boy who'd love to have one. A little boy he's never met.
What do you imagine him to be like?
If it was so important, she would have told him right away. She wouldn't be doing this, what, is he 8 years? 8 years later. The mother does not care about this boy.
A good man, that could play with me.
Chris is about to find out whether his youngest daughter is really his.
The results came back, and unfortunately she wasn't my daughter, my biological daughter anyway. It's a real shock when it comes, a real shock when it hits you. You think you're prepared, you think, oh, what if the results are negative? And of course you realise there could be that possibility.
For me, it wouldn't be shocking. This is so par for the course, it's not shocking at all. The reason why it's shocking to men is men are delusional. They will always enter this relationship that they've got with this woman with their delusions. Otherwise, they couldn't do it. Men could not get married or have girlfriends without a delusional mindset. I guarantee you that.
But when that letter comes, it just blows you away.
For Chris, like so many other men, there's an added hurt.
Oh, by the way, I can understand them blurring out the children's faces, but not hers. She deserves to have her face seen.
Certain knowledge he's been betrayed.
There'd been no sexual activity for almost a year. And then one night out of the blue, I was jumped upon. And you think that all your Christmases have come at once and that suddenly your wife loves you again and believes that, you know, our marriage has got a chance. And I honestly thought things were looking up. And then, of course, very soon after that, the announcement that, oh, I'm pregnant, so we can't have any sort of sexual relationship anymore.
See how this guy is screwed over? They haven't had sex for a year. This is, I've done another video discussing this sort of thing. It's pretty old standard for men. Men do not get sex when they get married. What they get is to be a bill payer. And he knew something was up when she jumped him because she'd rather not be honest. And notice it's also BS that they couldn't have sex after she got pregnant. She was basically saying, I find you disgusting. That's why I sleep with other men. I never wanted to touch you. You're just a provider for me. You're my male provider. I'm not interested in your intimacy or your sex or anything.
Have any sort of sexual relationship anymore.
What you're saying is you were set up to believe that you conceived this child together.
Yes, I was set up to believe that she was my child.
By now, Chris and his wife had separated. He was financially supporting both daughters, the youngest living with her mother, the oldest with him.
None of these children should be living with their mother. Their mother should be sent packing, and the father, who is the bill payer, should be looking after these children by themselves. She should be not living off this man's dime anymore. Matter of fact, she owes this man reparations for all the years she's been leeching off him.
Faced with mounting bills, Chris questioned why he should pay for a child who wasn't his.
It was getting to the stage where I was almost going to have to sell my home or start selling all my possessions.
So then you pulled out this trump card.
I did. I would have been continuing to pay child support payments, which, if you do the sums, works out to around about $140,000. And
wow, $140,000. Let me tell you something, guys. Children are not as expensive as people claim they are. If they were, then low-income people couldn't afford to have children. No, it's the wife that's expensive. This money is luxury spending for the wife.
And I think as soon as she turned 18 and child support stops, I would have been told, guess what? She's not your biological daughter.
And notice this guy didn't pull out his trump card till now. So in other words, this man is a loser. He was willing to be shafted like this as long as the wife stayed around. But when she started to leave him, that's when he said, okay, time to pull this out. Sorry, but men have no self-regard or self-respect.
What do you think is the predominant motivation for men seeking paternity testing?
That is a very insulting question. There's only one answer.
It seems to time with after separation, so it seems to be a strategy to avoid, delay, complicate, avoid child support responsibilities.
Called it. First of all, it's not responsibilities, ma'am. Don't dare frame it in that way. Child support slavery. Now, it's a shame that these men wait until there's a separation right? They're willing to be cuckolded and disrespected as long as that woman just doesn't leave them. Pathetic. But in the end, they say at least what it is when she leaves them, they want to have enough money to bribe the next woman who'll screw them over. So that's when they bring out the guns. This is shameful on men's parts.
Elsbeth McInnes heads the National Council of Single Mothers. Is there as much deceit and betrayal as some people believe?
We find that the deception most of the time is men who are wrongly and dishonestly denying their children.
There's now a move to make it a criminal offence to do what Chris did, take a child's DNA without the permission of the mother or the family court.
There you go. You guys, listen now. This is why you have to have an effective MRM. Because the opposition is always working. They're moving sharks. They move and they eat. Then they move again. They're going to close down this loophole. Do you understand that?
The mother didn't ask my permission to have an extramarital affair and to go out and have a child on the side out of marriage, out of the wedlock. So I don't believe you need their permission to have a test.
Well, you're right, but saying it isn't good enough. You have to be, pal, whatever your name is, you have to be politically active now as a man to defend your interest as a man, and you need other men involved. It's not enough to just give words anymore.
I don't believe you need their permission to have a test.
I wonder if it's working.
For some men, knowing whether they're the father is everything.
Okay, Zoe, I love you very, very...
Now, there's two things here, and one I support and the other I don't. One, the first one I support is men don't want to feel betrayed. I support that. Two, men want to make guard. They're big concerned. The ones that aren't concerned with the wife's betrayal, but just the idea that another man got between her legs, that I don't support. I don't care about that.
Very much. And Alyssa, your dad loves you more than anything in this world, darling. Okay?
Terry Mitchell thought he had it all. His girlfriend Zoe had just given birth to a baby girl.
Love you both.
Oh my God, she is adorable.
But behind these happy family scenes, there were terribly destructive doubts.
You happy, Zoe? You happy? Zoe, are you happy?
Why?
Because I'm asking the question.
By the way, this wouldn't be happening if this wasn't the way that women behaved anyway, on a massive scale. They find a guy to leech off of and then sleep with whoever they feel like it. This is the way it works. So I don't believe in any of these stupid vows and getting married, because it's a bad joke.
Terry told friends and family he didn't know if this little girl was his, and he didn't believe the courts would let him do a DNA test to confirm it.
So why do you think he chose this place? Because it's peaceful, isolated.
It was Terry's sister Kathy who found his body. Terry had driven to his favourite beach and connected a hose to his car's exhaust pipe.
See, this is how important it is. Men are killing themselves over this. Men are killing themselves over this. This man shouldn't have, really, though. I mean, he shouldn't have, because men should realize there is no betrayal here. This is the way things are. Well, I shouldn't say there's no betrayal, but they should expect that the betrayal is the standard. You should expect this.
And I jumped out and just started smashing his window with a tackle box to try and save him. And then Daniel had to smash the window with a crowbar because they just would not break.
This is your younger brother?
Yeah, it wouldn't break.
We will never truly know what led Terry to this.
Now, can you imagine them gaslighting us like this? Now listen.
All we do know from the suicide note he left is the night he took his life, he got a phone call from Zoe telling him his baby daughter wasn't his.
So he left a note, and it's right after that, but we can never know. Sorry, lady, we do know what happened here. We do know.
Do you feel angry towards him at all for giving up?
I do, but I don't, because the pain he must have felt to do that would have been unbearable for him.
How sure are you that he took his life because he couldn't confirm the paternity of this little girl?
He was frustrated with the system. There seemed to be forces stopping him from trying to find out whether the child was actually his child. He said, I love that child dearly, but I need to know, as its father, whether the child's mine.
Hello.
That's right. He was frustrated with the system. But all you guys do not realize this is the standard modus operandi for any male issue. The system, by the way, again, isn't broken. The system is designed to treat men like, not even like second-class citizens, like little slaves. Whether it's divorce courts or this disgusting false accusations men get now, paternity test, it's all the same. Men need to join an MRM, make the MRM properly effective, throw away their pet obsessions, and actually fight for their rights. This is worldwide. So this is Australia, but trust me, it's the same everywhere. It's the same everywhere in the Western world. It's the same in non-Western countries like India. It's the most misandric country in existence. So trust me, the modern day man has to fight for his citizenship. Okay, I won't bother with the rest of this, and we'll leave it here. But anyone who comes to my comment section, I'm going to make sure the comments aren't shut off. So please come share your stories. Thank you.